DOT, my enemy won't catch a vibe for this shit. Ayy, I've been stumped out in front of my mama. My daddy commissary made it to commas. Bitch, all my grandma's dead, so ain't nobody praying for me. I'm on your head, ayy. 30 millions later, know the feds watching. Auntie on my telegram like be cautious. I be hanging out at Thames, I be on Stockton. I don't do it for the gram, I do it for Compton. I'm willing to die for this shit, nigga. I take your fucking life for this shit, nigga. We ain't going back to broke, family selling dope. That's why you many ass rap niggas better know. If I gotta slap a pussy ass nigga, I'ma make it look sexy. If I gotta go hard on the bitch, I'ma make it look sexy. I pull up, hop out, air out, made it look sexy. They won't take me on my element, nah, take me. I'm allergic to a bitch nigga, ayy, an imaginary rich nigga, ayy. 7 figures, how that slimmer than my bitch figure, ayy. Going digital and physical on all y'all, ayy. Bunch of criminals and money in my phone calls, ayy. Me okay, me let the A1 fly. Relocate, jump on the same G5. Check it for me heavy, cause I go, yeah, They never been ready, yeah, I know, yeah. 100K spread across the floor, yeah. None of y'all fucking with the flow, yeah. Years in the making, they don't y'all mistake it. I got them by a landslide, we talking about races. You know there's never be a tie, just look at they laces. You know careers take off, just gotta be patient. Mr. 1 through 5, that's the only logic. Fake my death, go to Cuba, that's the only option. If I gotta slap a pussy ass nigga, I'ma make it look sexy. If I gotta go hard on the bitch, I'ma make it look sexy. I pull up, hop out, air out, made it look sexy. They won't take me on my element, nah, take me on my element. Damn if I do, if I don't, goddamn it's all if you won't. Damn, it's a goddamn shame. You ain't frontline, get out the goddamn way. Niggas thought they wouldn't go see me, huh? Niggas thought they cared out real life with the same life they see on TV, huh? Niggas wanna flex on me and be in LA for free, huh? Next time they hit the 10 freeway, we need receipt, huh? Most of y'all ain't real, most of y'all go squeal. Most of y'all just envy, but jealousy get you killed. Most of y'all throw rocks and try to hide your hand. Just say his name and I promise that you'll see Candyman. Because it's all in your eyes. Most of y'all tell lies, most of y'all don't fade. Most of y'all been advised. Last OP I tried to lift the black goddess, but it's a difference between black goddess and white goddess.
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. I've created a monster, cause nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want shady, I'm chopped liver. Well, if you want shady, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor, some vodka that'll jumpstart my heart quicker than the shots when I get shot at the hospital by the doctor when I'm not cooperating. When I'm rocking the table while he's operating. You waited this long to stop debating, cause I'm back, I'm on the rag and ovulating. I know that you got a job, Miss Cheney, but your husband's heart problem's complicating. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see. They try to shut me down on MTV, but it feels so empty without me. So this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy.
give a fuck. I don't 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 fuck. I don't fuck. I don't give a fuck. Give a fuck.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I like that froggy emote though. I found that frog from Jameski on BTTV. And it's 6-4 Impala. This is my... I've been building this playlist... Well, last time I touched this playlist was 4 years ago. This is my playlist. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me try and get myself back on track. Oh, I still have... I need to fix... I have 2 chat things and one of them doesn't work. It doesn't like exclamation marks as well, which is really weird. Let me find where this one sits, because I have no idea. It's not Captions webcam. I hope it's not on Captions webcam. Tape tools, overlays, goals, Spotify, camera, or avatar. Where there? Which one is this under? Redeems? No. 1 second. Let me go back into... Oh, I didn't mean to close this because my captions aren't working. Alright, captions back on. If I go to webcam... There we go. I remove the chat overlay. There we go. That's better! We're balling. We're fixing things live. Today's a very fix it live day. I was stuck downstairs with dogs. I wanted to be live at 11 o'clock this morning, going all day, and that didn't happen because of my dad going out. So, we're starting late. We're finishing early. Unfortunately, we'll be finishing around 6, half 6. Possibly 7, because I have to cook rice for the dogs, because dogs' funny tummies need rice. Today's tipple is a big glass of ice filled with a regular can of Monster. So, I don't really have a lot to say at the moment. This is going to be the curse of the summer holidays for me. Is I'm just not going to have a lot to say until I start making funny bits, or I just talk about the things that are coming up in stream. Ooh, good song. This is KK Good Day. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I forgot how good this playlist was. I really did forget how good it was. I need a widget or something. I need to continue. I need to go back to adding to this playlist. I need to go back to using SoundCloud more. I could have people joining the voice call with me, but for my intro, because once I start playing the game, and that's it, I'm cut off. It's just me. I don't do well with trying to play a game and focus on the game and yapping. Unless it's Dark Tide, which, that's a reminder. I need to remove my Dark Tide VOD from yesterday. As far as I'm aware, nobody noticed the mistake I made, but I made a mistake yesterday when I walked off to take a phone call from my nan. Now, I love my nan. I wish she hadn't called me when I was trying to report somebody on Twitch, because it just left my email sat on the stream. Yeah! Let's go! So I'm going to unpublish that VOD. And it was such a cool scene in it as well when I was surviving. I'm reacting to the really hard mission. So. Doxed myself in my second email. That I don't use for anything, but, like, finding out about Pokemon cards. I haven't set anything up on my game scene yet for Ghost of Tsushima. We're doing it again. We're doing it live. It's one of those very much do it live days. I hope everyone's having a good day today. I hope you all didn't get busy. I completed Pokedoku today and didn't fail. Somehow. I had to pull out my Pokemon cards and go through my Pokemon cards and make some guesses, but I managed to complete all of it and not make any mistakes like yesterday. Yeah. I don't know what I'm stalling for. We're playing Ghost of Tsushima the Director's Cut, so very busy and very stressful. Oh, at least you get to relax later with a bunch of idiots. Some big goofballs that are out here being silly. Being silly little fellas. I won't be streaming later for that. Entirely your content. Left my homie's house pay. Picked up a girl, been trying to dig since the 12th grade. It's ironic. Oh, I love food shopping. I love food shopping so much. I just really like food. I just really like food. I just really like food. I'm just gonna launch the game now. Because it should be controlled by this. Japan version, South Korea version, EMA version, EULA, whatever. Streamline service. As long as this game just doesn't stop. Oh, I love ice in drinks so much. I like filling my glass with as much ice as possible. I don't know why I have Spotify open. You can go. Get out of here. I've got Discord open as well. That can just stay out of the way. Is the game doing anything? Oh, it's launching still, apparently. I wonder if this is gonna... It's just a starting game. Steam? Oh, it's installing stuff. Okay, we're good. I got worried for a second. Mm-hmm. Okay, outside unless you have to. I don't mind it. I have no mine's very much I need a reason to. Like, I don't just go on walks. Like, trying to convince myself to exercise when it's me that's got to convince myself to go exercise, and I'm very good at convincing myself I don't need to do anything. I like sitting in the garden with the dogs. That's fun. Looking at the duck, which reminds me, in 2 hours I have to feed the duck. Hey Siri, set a timer for 2 hours. You heard it here first. Oh, in 2 hours we're having a break. Can I have a garden?
I don't know what I'm thinking about.
Where does your dog go to the toilet then? Oh, yes! Pico Bonfire. This song slaps so hard. Coke up my ass crack. We have pads. I guess little dogs. It's not too much of a problem. Get a litter box. Oh, Process, did you see what went on with itch.io and them getting strong-armed by the payment companies to remove not safe for work content? I'm waiting for this game to install. Running install script Microsoft VC redistributable. Come on, Ghost of Tsushima, I want to play you. If you guys don't know who Pico is from Pico Bonfire, it's related to Newgrounds. And Friday Night Funking'. Friday Night Funking' is a fun game. Hello, Emma. There we go. Tsushima's finally launching. We'll finally be able to add it in a second. I'm stalling. I'm stalling. Show launcher. Options. Yep, this main screen, full screen. 1440p, aspect ratio auto, DLS. Reflex low latency is on. Frame generation, DLS frame gen, why not? Graphics wise, very high. FOV, I don't know how field of view works. Motion blur strength off. We're gonna set that to 8. Double detail very high. Let's just see how this runs. Oh, I'm aiming for 60. Hoping this runs and doesn't just crash my PC. That was really funny. Oh, this game's loud. This game's loud. Connected to PlayStation. Thank you for being part of the community on PlayStation. You have access to the Archery Mastery Attire and Charm of the Canine Recruitment. Ooh. Yeah, links to PlayStation. I can't remember what my PlayStation details are. Sign in. Oh, this one's on getting trophies too. That's cool. We're doing it through home theater. Subtitles on. Microphone off. I'm just gonna play it with really loud audio. I'm sure it'll be fine. Graphics wise, field of view doesn't explain anything. Gamepad. Okay, it has an Xbox control scheme, so that's fine. Let's try and sort this out then. Come on, down you come. Come on. Oh, OBS has broken the thing. Oh, you were kidding me. There we go. Game captures. I know this game's really, really loud. I'm turning it down. There we go. It says continue, but we've never played this game before. Also, wow, my camera is not happy with this at all. Wow, my camera is not happy with this game at all. Encoding overloaded. I wonder if there's a way I can cap the frame rate to 60. Or if DLSS... oh, that's why. It's still compiling shaders in the background. Black and white filter with Japanese dialogue and English subtitles, inspired by movies of legendary filmmaker Akira Kurosawa. Oh my god. Game was taken more recent, yeah. Japanese with English subtitles? English with English subtitles, or standard just English dialogue? I actually think the samurai cinema is going to be the more fun one. I'd rather not know and just have to read through this game to pay attention. Though the idea of playing it in black and white does seem really interesting. Maybe if we have to go back for some achievements, we'll do it again. I've also just realised something I need to turn off in this chat. Where is it? I need to go into here. No, I need to go into here real quick. I need to go into game, and I need to delete this because it's messing with my overlay. And then I have to go home. There we go. There we go. I know this game's going to be very intense. I will turn it down. Woo! Even though I've turned it down massively, it's loud. Sheesh! Dialogue, say hi. Let's turn all these down to 70 for now. See if that sort of fixes how loud this game is. There we go. It's a bit better. The Mongol Empire is invading our home. They are brutal. Relentless. Unstoppable. We are 80 samurai against an army fighting to slow the invasion. Today, I die for my people. There must be thousands of them. We will face death and defend our home. Tradition, courage, honor. These three ingredients mixed together and a little bit of spice make the warriors of Tsushima. We are samurai. Break their spirits.
よく聞け。腕に覚えのものあらばいいでよ。
なんだ、すぐにだ。
我こそは足立晴信、かの足立義信が五代の末裔なり。
The disrespect. Jesus Christ! The level of disrespect.
侍、我に下るか。
誉れなき者には情け無用。さあ、かかれ。放て、島を守れ。かかれ。進め。敵将が引いた。追い寄せ。
I'm just rushing and slicing. No, my horse! No! My horse! Ooh, that dude got owned.
ジン、ついてまいれ。大勢の仲間が。この命に変えても前進せねばなるまいぞ。ご下知を、志村殿。
Oh, Jesus. You show no mercy.
おのおの敵将。
I'm already gonna. Is there a way I can cap the frame rate, contrast, HDR? Don't care about that. Well, that's all fine. Yeah, frame gen's fine. I'm capped because of the exclusive full screen. What I need to do is the FO view. I need to crank this. It got too close. Got very PlayStation with how close it was. You can jump! Is there like a dog in those? Oh, it's so loud. Alright, now it tells me how to block. I sort of figured it out, but I wasn't sure. How do I heal? Oh, I wanted to finish him off. Okay.
もはや我らのみ残された道は一つ。敵将を見つけ出し討ち取るのみ。最後までお供いたします。よく申した。
The poor horse! No, the poor horse!
来たぞ。あれが敵将。確保はできています。ここで決着をつけるぞ。
We end this together. Rallying cry. He's gonna pour more wine on us. He didn't pour more wine on us, which is good. But he is bitch made. That disrespect from throwing the wine on a person. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Not my uncle. He's the fun uncle. He brings sweets to the party. Oh, no! Oh, my back. Oh, my back. Oh. Oh, my back. Oh, my legs. My legs. Jesus Christ. It's a massacre. It's a shitty man. Kota, cousin of Kublai, grandson of the Genghis. Of Genghis. Oh, these are those Khans, the great Khans. Like in Fallout New Vegas. Brother, you are a warrior. You can see that. You trained your whole life for this. You've won battles. And lesser men have called unwinnable, yes? It's a good sword. While you were sharpening your sword, you know how I prepared for today? I learned. I know your language, your traditions, your beliefs. Which villages to tame and which to burn. So I ask you once again, samurai. Do you surrender? They aren't the cons from MTG. What? On the White Scar Primarch? This is a very pretty game. Angie! How'd I end up out here? Wrapped in bandages. And this is Loco. How did no weapons, no supplies. Weapons, just supplies. How did I get here? When the days go by. Now what I might do, I'm gonna make two small changes. One, I'm gonna decrease the game's volume just in Windows because it's like crazy loud. So that I'm gonna drop it down to 70 here as well because it's crazy loud. And two, I'm gonna close that. Oh no, I need that. I need to quickly go into Stream Elements and update one little thing, and then we are good to go. We're just gonna run with it. God, I should have prepared. Too scared to actually launch the game. I don't know how loud this game's actually going to be. Streaming tools, overlays, edit my follower overlay. Your stream chat, settings. Messages will fade after 20 seconds. Messages are delayed by 1 second. And save. There we go. Maybe just trying to sort the volume for myself as well, because it was very loud for me.
もう子供
Mongols. I know them well.
誰かが俺を
Someone
か
saved
く
me.
まってくれたその者がたちも
Maybe they have my sword. You can just hear the sound of people burning to death in the background. That's horrifying. Someone sharpening their blade. A warrior.
俺の鎧壊れておるだ
Broken.
があるだけありがたい
But better than nothing. Jeez.
傷はどう？走れそう？
ああおそらくは
How we all went, I think. Where's my sword?
ここにはない。私に任せて。ほら、隠れろ。
Surely they can just see through the gaps in the paper.
ああ、殺さないで。
米を出せ
ああ、少しならあるから持って行って。
Dude, you might have a little knife. How are you gonna stab him with that? Oh, I guess in the neck works. Hey, new armor. If she hadn't just stabbed holes in it, that'd be pretty good.
何者だ
言うなってんだ。
Hello, Yuna. Thank you for looking after me. Where's my sword?
太刀が欲しいならついといて。
Okay.
どれほど寝ていた
数日島の半分が乗っ取られちまったよ。
Long enough for the Mongols to conquer the island. Oh my.
ユナ
後にして。くっそ、かがんで。
We know how to mess with a pretty Asian lady in this game.
待って。
Oh, in her.
助けようなんて思わないで。
Oh.
民の命が
Oh, that was rough to watch.
志村殿は戦場におられたか
じっと
How do I? Oh,
知らないね。
I'm liking this angle.
ユナ待って
Sheesh.
志村殿は俺の叔父だ
あんたが堺人か。地頭の多いの。
Yes.
して叔父上は生きておいでか
おそらくね。
She
猛虎
thinks
に囚
so.
われてるけど。
Mongols took him prisoner.
場所はわかるか
東の海岸沿い。
Along the
金
coast.
田の木であろ
It was Castle
う
Canade.
叔父上を捕らえたことで
I don't know how to pronounce that.
守りも手薄のはずだ攻め入るなら今しかない
殺されるよ。
You'll be
だ
killed.
が無事にお助けすれば猛虎を打ち払うことができる鎌倉に下踏みを送りご助力も超えよ
あんたが切られるのを見るために世話してやったわけじゃないよ。
うではな
He
ぜ
knows
助
she's
け
about
た
to marry you.
死なれちゃ困るからさ。手を貸してほしい。
Oh,
叔父上さえご無事なら対馬は助かる俺にとっても唯一の身内行くぞ
we're gonna be the next dynasty of samurai.
くぐって。
Oh, yikes.
今はこらえて行くよ。待って。
騎兵だ。
立って。
よし。
I think really good in showing how brutal and butcheristic the Khans were.
まずい。隠れるところがない。このまま出たらあいつらに見つかっちまう。
一か八かだ。
待って。荷車が。今だ。早く。
万兵だ。
屋根に登るしかない。
Oh, how do I take the rooftops?
Hola.
Oh,
屋根に登り、
Cool.
戦を漁るとは野党だな。
その時
Samurai parkour.
もらうだけ。
俺の太刀もか。
たちは食べ物と薬に変えた。
なんだと。
怒るな。買い手を捕らえて取り戻してやるわ。
It still feels very on railsy right now, which makes sense, but
空手じゃ心もとない。
Ooh,
使えそうな
supplies.
ものもらっときな。
盗めという
more
のか。
持ち
supplies.
主はとっくに死んでる。
Oh god, yeah, we can just loot the shit out of places because everyone's dead. It doesn't matter. Any more supplies?
だよ。タッチを買ったやつはこの
Joe
先
bought
に
two
住む
armor. Great game.
いるか。まずいね。猛虎に見つかったんだ。
見張っておれ。
Ooh.
俺が調べよう。太刀さえあればどこかにあるはず。
Supplies. Dead body. A sword! My sword.
我が名は堺人。地頭である志村殿の甥い。臆病ではない。
お前にかなう者はいないな。だがまだまだ太刀に振り回されておる。
稽古中です。
父親の武具でか。これは堺家の宝刀。戦を鎮め命を救った太刀だ。
That's cool.
殴られたのか。
いえ、
No one. I did it to myself. Bashed myself in the face when doing some samurai
身を
sick
守
jumps
る
and
術を
tricks.
教えてやろう。
心得ています。
刃を操るには何よりもまずその心を鎮めねばならんぞ。
できます。
God, Portal 2's so good.
そうか。
I have to try and beat him in a wooden stick fight. He's gonna kick my ass.
稽古の成果を見せてみろ。わしを撃ってみよ。
はい、おじゅう。
さあ、撃ってこい。
Okay, so it's X and Y to attack. So light and heavy.
よろしい。
Okay.
さよう
Put
に
it that your
戦え
attack
れ
will
ば
not have
技をつけられ
bruised
る
you
こ
so
ともな
easily.
かったな。
不意をつかれたんです。
Wasn't a fair fight.
ではその技をつけた者が戻ってきたら、
Imagine he's returned to
汚い
what
手
we
もた
started
めらわ
and
ぬ
he used
相手
every
から
dirty trick he knows.
いかにして身
How
を
will you
守る。
defend yourself? I'll lure him
私
in.
の方が身軽でしょう。間合いの外から
I'll stay out of his reach.
疲れるのを待って、
Wait for him to get
人
tired.
たちで倒しま
Drop
す。
him with a
よ
one
ろし
strike.
い。敵がいかに策を巡らそうとも
A samurai must always fight with
武士たる者は
patience,
臆すことなく戦わねばならぬ。
even when his opponent
肝
resorts to
に銘じ
trickery.
ます。
ではわしの防御を崩せ。堺陣が優ある武士だと示してみよう。
Yeah, tap Y to break the defense. And then... Okay. Tap Y to break the stance, and then you have to smash him in. Okay, so...
やめよ。降参だ。
Okay.
加減しましたね。
It's a very nice garden.
太刀であった
Look
ら
at all the flowers,
死んでおっ
the
た。
petals
嘘です
sitting on top
お
of
前
it.
に嘘をつくものか。よし、次はわしの攻めを防いでみよう。手心を期するでないぞ。よく防いだな。良い構えだ。
疲れた。休みませんか。
まだ終わってはおらんぞ。腹を据え痛みに耐えてみせよ。よし。
Okay, down to heal. Cool. Judge them for having... You resolve me to draw and you resolve to heal and perform other special abilities. Game resolved by killing enemies, parrying attacks, and other advanced skills.
では受け流しを教えよう。わしの動きをしかと見ていろ。打ち込まれたらすかさず防げ。覚えが早いぞ。
Oh.
撃たれる寸前に受け流すのだ。
Oh. One last time. Come on. I'm never gonna parry again in this game.
到達しておるな。良い構えだ。
You're improving.
休まれますか。
お前
Take
の
more
相
than
手
a
に
child to
息
not
を
do
切
win
ら
that
す
to
と
me.
置いてはおらん。
I'm gonna kick him in the nuts as we stand
それ
here.
では槍が相手の稽古を始めよ
See me
う。
defend
わし
against
の
the
槍を
spear.
かわし、すかさず切り返してみよう。よし、その息だ。よいか、かわしたらすぐさま攻めろ。うまく避けたな。ついた後の隙を見逃すな。
By the looks of it, there isn't a targeting system. So it's just like you have to sort of guesswork where you're gonna attack. Yeah, parrying some of those things that I'm never really good
い
at
かなる
timing it.
武具も、いかなる兵も打ち破る手はある。
ご指導痛み入ります。
終わってはおらぬぞ。さて陣よ。わしと刀比べをする気はある。
Sparring match.
あざができますよ。
大口を叩くな。一つ賭けでもしよう。先に5本打った方が
Person
有
5
名を
strikes
決め
gets
る
to
と
choose
さ。
dinner.
ではタコにしましょ
うまいぞ。腕を上げたな。
う。お見事です。
Gotcha.
飯の前に
That is amazing.
あと一つだけ問おう。
I like Cave Johnson a lot as well.
代々
Generations
当
of
家の武
families
士
have lived
は
by a
規
code.
律を守ってきた。何を重んじてきたかわか
Tell me
る
the
か。
virtues that guide us.
主への注意。
Loyalty to our Lord.
己を律する
Control over our emotions. And,
申してみよ
you know this,
誉れ
honor.
勇猛に戦い
To
堺
fight
の
bravely
家
and
を
uphold the
守ること
legacy
です
clan Sakai.
う。それは父の言葉であろう。
Those are your father's words.
お前にとっての
What does
誉れ
honor mean to you?
それ
We
は
get to pick, I guess.
民を守ること
Protecting people.
己を
Ones
守
who
れ
can't
る
fight for
者
themselves.
お前は優しいな。
You have a good heart. I really
だが
don't. My
ま
heart's
ずは
terrible, but
主
here we
に
go.
使いながら
Show
皆に
everyone
示すのだ。
that we
勇気
serve
と
our Lord with
真理
courage,
と
integrity,
節制と
and self-control.
安く思えますか。
You say that like it's easy.
行うは形だ。
It's never easy, Jin.
わしも日々苦心しておる。しかし我らは規律を守ることで民の模範にならねばならん。もちろん武士にとってもな。それが誉れを売る道だ。
This is the meaning of honor.
Ach, not der Samurai.
I hate that this is a video and not done in engine.
見つけたんだね。
馬は
Yep.
どこにおる？
馬屋にいるかも。来て。
Found my sword. Took a hit. We'll be fine. Wait, can I park out walls? Oh, it just jump. Oh, okay.
騎兵だ。
我が物顔で走ってる。
馬屋はどこだ？
燃えてる家の裏手さ。おいで。
Behind the burning farmhouse. Doesn't that just mean all the horses are going to be dead too?
近づけそうだ。後ろから喉をかき
Slit
れ
their
ば
throats and kill them
静
without
か
a
に殺
sound.
せる。
誇りはないのか？道理に背くつもりはないぞ。
Her bottom lip coming out, then pouting.
来い、鬼畜ども！ 近いな。
助ける気じゃないだろうね。
もう隠れんたちも取り返した。
ちょっと。万平だ。
一人も逃がすでない。
Either that or the enemies would have taken. Yeah. Horses would have been freed more than likely, and that. Yeah.
お侍は皆死んだと聞きましたが。
You know, one of those things where you either wipe the land or you keep the horses because, you know, the horse never did anything. The horse isn't a samurai. The horse doesn't have a sword yet.
街道は避けよ。必ず息子を守るのだぞ。
If we get our own horse in this and we get to name it, it's being named
あんた
Buttercup.
無
That's
茶
the
ばかり
rules.
するね。
あやつは戦えぬからな。それにこれ以上見殺しにはできぬ。
あんたなら大勢を救える。弟が猛虎にさらわれた。
だから俺を助けたのか。
私にはあの子しかいない。
叔父上がお待ちなのだ。
頼む。高さへ戻ればそれでいいんだ。
She just wants a brother. I just want my
叔父
uncle.
上をお救いした後でいいのならば探してみよう。
No, do the brother first because that's 3 people to save your uncle. Your uncle's going to be the harder one.
馬屋はすぐそこだよ。 馬屋へ急ごう。
Do I get to pick my horse?
浜に連れて行かなかった馬だ。
命拾いしたね。運がいい。ど
I
の
want
馬
this
になりたい？
I want this one. The digital deluxe horse.
どうど
似合ってる。
う名をつけねばな。
Nobu, Sora, or Cage? Let's go with Nobu.
ノブ、誠の心。
Are you sure? You've chosen this name Nobu. This will be a companion's name for the entire journey. Are you sure? Well, it's not like you can let me type in Buttercup. Hey look, red and blue. Komoda Town. Castle Canada?
金田の木。
Cutterbutt? Yeah.
地頭は城の中だね。
Have your uncle inside? Right, so do we get to save our uncle now? We're literally just gonna try and walk in there right now.
壁は高くて越えられないね。
The walls are too high to
騒ぎでも
climb
起こして
because of
忍び込んでみ
distraction
る
and
い
sneak
や
in.
大手門から入る。
We walk in the
ハ
front
ーンは
gate.
足立殿を生きたまま焼き殺し、叔父上を恥ずかしめ、武士を皆殺しにした。この恥はすすがねばならぬ。
正面から突っ込んだらお仲間
I've
と
even
同
said
じ目
the
に
same
遭
thing
う
that
よ
your。friends killed.
猛虎もそう考えるだろう。
That's what the Mongols will think. But this time I'll strike first.
お主はここで待っておれ。
Epic. When approaching enemy territory, you can challenge foes to a standoff. Once your enemy approaches, hold white. As soon as they attack, release white to defeat them one deadly strike.
志村殿を返してもらうぞ。
Yumhige samurai!
Yeah, sliced his spine open. What you can do about it?
や
Huh?
ったね。
そう申したであろ
この音何？
う。わからぬ。だがおそらくもうこの兵器。
Ajuta lassen!
押し通れ。進むほかないぞ。
Whee!
これ以上は無理だ。
We can't keep going. Yes, we can.
戻れ。
一人で。
逃げ道を探しておけ。叔父上を助けたらすぐに
We'll
引
need a
く。
quick escape. It's true. We will need a quick
馬も
escape.
用意しとく。
頼む。
We'll get the horses ready. Do it.
俺が戻らねば
But
森に
not back
逃げ
soon.
ろ。
Ride for the forest.
Aşağı yapçok!
Here, Jingo.
'Better be getting all the foxes. Oh golly, I literally just started this game. I don't even know what that means. I have no clue what that means. Better be petting all the foxes, not getting all the foxes. Alright, if I can pet a fox, I will pet every fox I find. Ow. Dodging arrows. Before firing arrows, Mongol archers will call out and signal their allies to duck. Right. So let's be targeted first, that's fine. Anybody up here? I haven't played this myself, but the trailer showed you could pet foxes. Ooh. See, I don't think I ever watched a trailer for this. I just know who it's developed by, so I'm like sold. I'll play it. I like samurais. And I'm here to win. Anything cool up here? No?
Ude試しと行くぞ。
Elde aşiglach! Samurai!
Come on, fellas. You know you want to go. And down they go. I'm calling to the Han. Come to me, Han.
我は酒井仁。地頭である志村殿の甥だ。叔父上が受けた恥、すすぎに参った。
Jin! から己のことは聞いておるぞ、堺人。
Your uncle has told me much about you.
こやつに見せてやる。己が我に蹂躙されて情けをこう姿をな。チンさあどうする、堺人。
This could be one of those impossible fights that you have to lose to build character.
来い、増票名。おじが見ておるぞ。諦めろ、堺人。
黙れ下道め。
This feels like one of those impossible fights that you just can't win. Yep. Yep, it feels definitely like one of those impossible fights you can't win.
やめよ、下れ。いともたやすく平和が戻るとおじに見せてやれ。死にたくはなかろう。
Woo! Ah!
不甲斐ない。
I hate when games do that sort of like impossible fight thing.
父上、ジン、手を貸さんか。
お前は死ぬのが主情のためだ。
He so peacefully closed his eyes when he died then.
若様、そろそろです。
ああ、今参る。
島中の者がお父上を弔いに来ております。
皆を返してくれ。
何をおっしゃいますか。若様が堺の家督なのですよ。
ああ。
お一人ではありませんよ。
I'm not alone.
お父上は風となり導いてくださり、
Father is the wind at your
お
back.
母上は
My
鳥
father's
と
a
な
fart?
り見守ってくださいます。
おじ上は
ご本人がお伝えくださいましょう。
助かった、ゆり。
堺殿の息子とあらば、お前は我が子も同然だ。
Oh, thank you. Anybody else got anything nice to say? The other clans? No? I had to watch my father die in front of me in his cool armor that I'm not allowed to wear.
何よりも民を守られた。
My father protected the people above all else. A true samurai? Thank you. I love how minimal the UI is. And I'm just ruining it by being in the middle of the screen here.
すべて私のせいです。
ジン、それでも武士か。
父上は私をかばって。
Young Jin.
息子を守るため戦で死んだのだ。無念はない。それがモノノフ。
Oh, that was a warrior's death? Let's go.
お前が意志を継げ。
I will carry on his legacy.
あやつの魂はこの太刀に宿っておる。これを父と思え。明日、わしの砦に来るがよい。
I'm gonna go to his fortress
迎え入れよう。
as a ward. Let's go.
今日は父に別れを告げろ。
Goodbye, father. How did I survive the fall?
父上、お導きください。
How do I save him, father? Teach me, guide me. Follow the wind. Whoa, that's subtle, but that's awesome.
Yuna!
Yuna!
どうだった？
I got my ass kicked.
お助けしようとしたが、あえなくハーンに。
And he was too strong.
叔父上は嘆いておろう。
あんたが無事でよかったよ。
God, Yon's attacking me.
命を捨てても対馬を救
Even though I'm
うつも
drinking
り
an
は
energy drink, I'm getting attacked by
今
Yawns.
や猛虎に故郷を乗っ取られ。
The Mongols assaulted our home and killed our samurai.
自分より強いやつに負ける気持ちわかるよ。情けないよね。
To feel weak.
でも死んじまった
Sometimes
ら
it's
元も
staring
子もない
death in the face.
生き延びるためなら
Do
何
whatever
だっ
it
てやらな
takes
く
to
ちゃ。
survive.
このまま再びハーンに挑んだとしても、返り討ちに遭うのは必定。他の手立てを考えねばなるまい。そうして志村殿を救い、故郷を取り戻そう。
だったら私が。
騎兵だ。ハーンの番犬だ。
大勢で来る。まずい。隠れなきゃ。
Hide in the grass? This is cool. I can take him. Where have our horses just gone?
あんたを探してるんだ。馬が逃げちまったじゃないか。
Oh yeah,
主の
masters
元
gathered
に
the
戻
horses,
るよ
the
う
samurai
し
mounts,
つけてある。
trained to return to their masters. Where the hell did you just come from? It came out of a tree. It just came out of a tree.
もうこうあんたを探してる。
Mongols must be hunting me.
お主は逃げろ。
We
俺
should
が
split
猛
up.
虎兵
I'm
を
breaking up
引
with
きつけ
you.
る。
タカを
I'll draw
助ける
attention
ま
to you
で
now.
そばを離れるつもりはないよ。
ではまず火星を得ねばな。腕が立つといえば石川先生や足立雅子殿、このお二人を。
タカだって腕がいい。あの子を助ければ
Once we save
島で
him,
一番の
you have
鍛
the
冶屋が
iron
味方
best
につくんだ。
blacksmith in your debt.
城に忍び
You'll
込め
make
る道
whatever
具だ
tool
って
you need to
作れ
save
る。
your uncle. Let's go.
壁を登れるようなものは。
タカの腕なら朝飯前。
Wicked.
捕まった場所は。
ケチのあたりだった。
お主
Nikechi.
は先に行っておれ。後
Right
で
there
向
and
かおう。
ask around. I'll join you soon.
あの子は弱いから長くは持たない。
You won't last long in a Mongol cave.
必ず弟は
We
助ける。
will save your brother. Mainly because I want to upgrade my gear. And my uncle. It's so jarring going from in-engine render, which looks so good, to MP4 video, which is compressed to fit on a PS4, playing on DLSS. Like, this is in-engine. Sucker Punch presents Ghost of Tsushima. Act 1. Rescue Lord Shimura. Charm of Canine recruitment. If you sneak up on a Mongol dog, you can pet it. The dog will then become your ally, stealthing and fighting along you against enemies. I can have a dog friend! And the archery master's attire, worn by Sensei Ishikawa. Infamous and Sly Cooper died for this. Yeah, it's true, but more archery master's attire. I can understand why, and if they ever do another Infamous and it looks half as good as this, press the map to view. Is there like points I can go to unlock more of the map? A bunch of question marks. Explore Tsushima to discover new locations. This is Tail. This is a Tail. Unit is searching for a brother, a blacksmith named Taka, who has been captured by the Mongols. She's checking on a lead near Kechi fishing. Complete Tales to build your legend and acquire new resources and abilities. Major legend increase assassinations and focused hearing. As your legend grows, you will learn powerful new techniques. And then the half bow, an undiscovered location, another undiscovered location. So what I'll do, choose your next destination, the wind will guide you. Right, I'm going to go to here first. Flowers. Okay. The winds are guiding me. Neat. Oh, this yellow is gorgeous.
加減はせんぞ。
Where are your mates then? Right, there's quite a few here. Ooh, that hurt. Let me get rid of the ads first. Oh. Oh, I cut his whole arm off. Oh, that's good. Oh, you got owned. Anything cool here I can take? A singing cricket? 20 singing crickets to collect? Anything else here? I cut off the big guy's arm. That was wild. No! Whoa, 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 whoa! What did it say to get on the horse? Okay. Whoops. So you can attack your own horse. I'm learning that that is the thing you can do, and it's not a good idea to do. How are we doing the map? Items and resources you collect are stored in the collections menu. Oh, there's an undiscovered location here too. Let's go have a look at that instead. Following the wind reaches tracked objectives. Hold right and push up to show. Okay. How close am I? Oh, it's literally a straight line ahead, so. I can't see. Oh. Oop. First death. I got worried by the fact that I couldn't see. Okay, so. If I just follow this road, so there are just random things on the road that you can fight. This is all learning. Oh, is this actually a place I can stop? On the other side of this? Like, we went here, but I didn't stop here, so maybe I should have stopped here and looked at the tree. Oh, hello. I'm composing a haiku. I'm terrible at haikus. I use AI to make haikus to send people at work. Reflect on refuge. A golden temple. Submerged deep in nature's shade. Ever unbending. A golden temple. Submerged deep in nature's shade. Ever unbending. You'll get ranked in my haikus. Headband of refuge. A golden temple submerged deep in nature's shade. Ever unbending. You have arrived at your track location. Challenge when approaching enemy territory. You can challenge foes to a standoff. Alright, well I still want to go to the shore first. Oh, there's so many big places to go. Should we go here first and just skip past her? Oh, I need to start getting on a horse and having the get on horse button do right triggers and weird. But the travel navigation system in this is basically check the map or trust in the wind and just go in any general direction, so that's cool. It really does encourage you just to explore. Mongol territory, so we're staying away from this for now. I know we do have to go there, but I'd rather go to the explored location first. Oh, that ain't good. Hope that doesn't happen to me. Yochi slope. Bamboo. More bamboo. More bamboo. Ah, a survivor camp. A merchant. Ooh, somebody recognizes me.
どこかで会ったか。
いいえ、ただご出陣のお姿を見ただけです。これをお受け取りください。お探しの者へと誘う力があると言われています。
それはお主が持っていろ。
猛虎が怖くて私は動けません。もし道すがら花を見つけたらここに持ってきてもらえますか。いろいろ染め直しますよ。
覚えておこう。助かった。
Traveler's attire, perfect for those with long journeys ahead. Sword
素材
kits.
が足りないようですね。
Oh, what? I can have a prowling tiger. What? The snow demon's eyes. Even in blinding snow, the demon sees all. Empress tears, and the sea dragon. The dies. And hats. I can have a hat. That's so cool. You know, track location to the guiding wind. Oh.
また来よう。
道中のご無事をお祈りしています。
Let's speak to everyone.
旅の安全を祈っ
May
て
the
おり
kami
ます。
protect your path, my
稲荷
lord.
の神が守ってく
Mother
ださい。
bleeds, honey is my
俺が生ま
guardian.
れた日、
She saw a fox chasing fireflies outside our home the day I was born.
狐は
She's
お
the
稲荷
foxes
様
that
の
Aniri's
お使いと
messengers
言わ
in
れ
our
てますか
world.
らね。見かけたら
When you see
追い
one,
かけるのが
always follow
吉
where
でし
it
ょう。
leads.
そうしよう。では。
There we go. Golly, it's told me about the foxes
大風のように通り過ぎていくだけ。
and the lore behind them.
ぶしつけですが、随分とお疲れのご様子。体は休めていらっしゃいます？
戦が続いておるからな。 確かに
She would
休め
believe
て
it.
おらぬ。
She's also
で
been
は
through some.
日吉の湯にいる妹をお尋ねください。病にかかった時勧められるまま湯に浸かると体に力が戻るのを感じました。
Bathing in water to return life. So that's going to give me a location to go exploring to, I assume. Trapper. Ammo and resources, linen, and feathers. I must upgrade your attire. I can't. Oh. What if I sell you? I can sell you bamboo, iron, linen, yew wood, and predator hides. Oh, so we do have to hunt in this. Can I drop down here without killing myself? I can. What about down here? Oh, cool. So we can just go off the beaten track. Is there fast travel in this? Oh, is there climbing in this? Can I like climb this rock face? Or am I going to need to do that later, like with a grappling hook or something? Can I do this now? I assume I can't do this now, but oh, I can. Oh, wicked. Anybody home? Supplies, supplies. This is where I find out there's like a supply cap here or something. More supplies. Oh, we can't get inside this. Okay. Okay. More supplies. And he died. Cool. Armor loadouts and gameplay options. You can equip charms to augment your abilities. Killing enemies restores minor amounts of health. And we can also have the canine reinforcement. Oh. View upgrades. $250 supplies and 10 linen for 20% chance. Traveling clears 20% form of fog of war on the map. Okay. So there is a reason for changing gear up. Then we have the Heroes of Tsushima mask, and we have the full helmet or the band. Any accessories? Play the flute. Song can change the weather. Cool. Okay, so. No, stop trying to attack the horse, idiot.
Yeah.
I do need bamboo. Anybody home? Oh.
動くな。
石川先生。
Sensei Ishikawa?
堺の跡取りか。
Lord Sky's boy.
生きておったとは。
Only just.
菰田で待っておりました。
向かう途中で賊に襲われてな。
その賊を待ち構えていたと。
備えあれば憂いなしと言うだろう。志村殿も討ち死にか。良き男だったが。
無事です。しかし囚われの身に。
Taken captive by the Mongols.
望みはあるな。
実はその件でお力添えを。
できぬ。不肖の弟子に出奔されての。
手を貸しましょう。しかるのち何卒ご助力を。
遅れを取るなよ。
Guess him sus. He's very sus of us. Hello, horse.
他に生き延びた者はおるか。
存じません。
では猛虎に手向かう者は。
残念ながら他にはござらん。
なら探さねばな。
Oh, I better find
二
it
人では
quick.
救出などおぼつかぬ。
I don't know how long to beat is on this game, but I do want to do a lot of side stuff in it.
「お弟子殿の居場所は？
巴の行く先など知れておる。
巴？
Chama?
女子か。
A woman?
生まれは？
生まれは
Of no
百
clan.
姓。
A peasant.
だが弓は並ぶ者などおらぬ。大主でさえな。
Oh, cool, she's better than us. She can outshoot us. A peasant lady who's just like skilled. The footsteps stop there. No, they continue here.
最後にお会いしたのは確か10年前。
弟子志願だったな。
ご記憶とは？
門前払いしたやつは忘れぬ。
I
な
remember
ぜ
most of the
私
students
で
I
はなく
reject.
巴を弟子になさった？
お主は有望。巴は神道よ。
A prodigy? Smack my bitch up? Take a picture? Smack my bishop. Take a picture. Meow. Doobadoo-boobadoo.
行ってこい。
Яг адуулсан бох шиг хөдлөхгүй юм.
You're next. You're next. You're next. You're next.
おやつら酔ったタヌキだな。
だが菰田では
Drunken
負けました。
Tanuki.
目覚めぬ虎なら
Even
タヌキに
Tanuki
も
can
劣る。
catch a target when it's sleeping. Wow. He makes a good point. Tanuki can catch a target while it's
巴
sleeping.
の足跡だ。来い。中
I'm
山
sus of
砦
this
が抜かれた。
uh,
あの石膏が
person
証
that
拠
is
だ。
going
砦は日吉
for
の
us to go
近く。
after.
次は日吉が狙われるな。
Any more ghosts for me to fight? I'll take them.
争った跡が。
襲わ
Something
れたか
happened here. An
調べる。
ambush. Look around.
米と泡。
Rice and
手
millet
つかずだ。
left
不意を
uneaten.
撃たれたな。
Oh,
血の跡。
some blood,
わずかだが。
but not
死
much.
者はおらぬな。
矢筒があります。
わ
Japanese
しが
quiver.
与えた
A gift
回伝の
to my
証だ。
greatest student.
どうなっておる？
He fears the worst.
巴が矢筒を捨ておくとは。
敵から逃れるためか。
捕まったか。
では今頃
尋問か拷問、あるいは
まさか叔父上も同じ目に。
恐怖は猛虎の武器。たじろげば奴らの思うつぼぞ。
お弟子はいずこにいると。
Where would they take her?
中山だ。
Oh, a fort?
砦は近いぞ。
You're not gonna pick up the gift quiver? You're just gonna leave it
わ
there?
しが菰田におればな。
いらっしゃらずばこそ今共に戦える。
なぜ負けたかわかるか。
けだものには勝てませぬ。
それは違うな。
この目で見たのです。
キューバの道は見るのみにあらず。
Archer's aim relies not on eyes, but on body, mind, and spirit. And suddenly it was night time. You see these guys, these two guys walking up to your tower. 10 minutes later, everyone's dead. You're just like, oh!
ここで止まれ。話がある。
We need to talk.
いかがなされた。
この弓は数年前
This
に
bow was a gift from me to Lord Nago many years ago.
結構な弓です。
It's a beautiful
そうであ
weapon.
ろうとも。
Of
増え
course
て
it
の者が
is.
かような弓を引く
Nothing
な
more
ど
painful
考えるだに
to me than a
心が
perfect
痛む。
bow ineptly used.
それほどの品を
It's
私
a good
に。
thing you're giving it to me.
早とちりをするでない。だがお主の腕次第で
Prove you can
貸
shoot
してやっ
straight.
てもよい。
And I'll let you borrow it.
戦の前に試しておくか。手前にある灯籠を狙ってみろ。よし、次は奥の灯籠だ。左だぞ。まずまずだ。さらに遠くの的ではどうかの？的が遠ければ矢は落ちると教えたろう。集中せんか。
今のは刀らし。
やはり早まったかの。
ご安心を。次は必ず。
どう思った？
手に馴染みますな。
そうであろう。大事にすることだ。
Okay, so wait for me. It wasn't.
You
So,
go.
okay, okay, so it's happy for me to have the bow.
この弓があれば
Well, we're not
菰田
happy.
でも。
良き弓だが、戦を決めるのは人だ。武具ではない。
猛虎
Warriors
の
not
兵器は
weapons.
火
You
を吹
haven't
くの
seen
で
the
すぞ。
Mongols fire
戦いは
weapons.
これからよ。
Yeah, they haven't won yet.
中山砦だ。
お弟子殿がいればよいが。
上からなら備えがよく見えよ。
Oh, we can scout? Well, that's a pre-scout. That's awesome.
この辺りがよかろう。
私が入って門を開けます。あとは共に。
せいてはことを
We
潜ん
just
で
having
る
to
とい
battle
う
with
言葉があ
your
るぞ。
ではど
Hakama
うしようと。
half-tide.
まあ少し落ち着け。奴らは
Patience.
石
The
膏を
Mongols will
探し
send men
兵
to
を
find
出
their
す
missing
はずだ。
patrol.
門を開いた
When the
刹
gates
那に
open, we
飛び
will
込むぞ。
strike.
長引けばそれ
The
だけ
longer
友
they
也
delay, the
殿が
longer
危
they
うくな
remain
り
in
ます。
danger.
心配は無用だ。
Should be fine.
戦場をよく見ろ。何か役に立つものはないか。
蜂の巣だ。いれば足止めになるやも。
針と矢で猛虎を穴だらけにする算段か。
樽で痛手を与えられるやも。
やる甲斐はあるの。
松明を撃ち落とせば火花が飛びましょ
う。火事を起こせるな。
騎兵の数が多い。
だが腕前はわしらが勝る。門が開いたら。 敵
Get
を
it
引
open
き
to
つけ
distract the enemy.
矢の雨を降らせて
Make arrows on their
光の
heads.
地に乗り込み巴殿を救う。
よし、あとは待つのみ。
And now we wait.
門が開きます。
わしの合図を待て。まだだぞ。今だ、奴らをメイドへ送ってやれ。
Hit him in the dick. Ooh!
中にも敵が。
すぐに消す。そして巴だ。
Timber!
Alright, forget about parrying. I don't have enough to heal. Uh oh, I might be dead. I'm gonna be dead. Bossman shot the guy next to me who... Okay. Let's try this again. Oh, that sucks. So we are still supposed to stealth archer our way into this place. The leader's killed. Woo! Kill more leaders to unlock water stance. Would have actually aimed the shots properly, wouldn't it? Anybody else? End suffering. Aw, how nice of me.
捕虜を撃つとは縛られ矢の的にされたか。
Killed with
巴
arrows.
は
Tomoe
待て
isn't.
これは
Wait.
巴のも
The
の。
pendant belongs to her.
辺りを調べろ。
Search the fort. There's supplies here. Not in this building. Not in this building, but I'm examining the clothes.
誰かが住んでおったようだ。
女子の衣服。
A woman's
巴のもの
kimono.
だ。
釈放されていたのか。
Mongols freed her?
なぜだ。
Uh oh. This makes me worry she's become a Mongol's plaything. Hmm.
もうこの矢ではない。
これは巴の矢だ。
確かですか。
鹿の角の矢はずはわしが教えた。海わしの矢羽もな。
弓を奪われたのでしょうか。
それにしては狙いが正確。もうこの兵なんぞにできぬ芸当だ。
巴に弓を使わせたのか。
Uh oh. She's defected. That's my worry, she's defected. How do I get in here? By the roof, I guess? The hole in the roof? Oh, I just walk up to the bloody door, don't I? Anybody home?
巻物。
A scroll?
もうこの言葉で弓に
Archery
ついて
terms
書
with the
かれている。
Mongolian translations.
あなたの名もここ
Your
に。
name is mentioned.
わしの教えを
She's
猛
teaching
虎
them
に
my
打った
way
と
of
い
the
うこ
bow.
とか。
Uh-oh.
"聞こえたか?
島のものです。
So she's defected. That's what I'm hearing.
寒い。
女を探しておる。弓取りだ。
Archer.
俺と同じ檻にいた女です。でも奴は解放され、
They set her free. We
弓を
gave
受
her
け
an
取る
armor
と
and a bow.
女房を殺しやが
Oh
った。
my god.
他の奴らも
あのムクロ。
己の腕を敵に売り込み、寝返りおったか。
頼む。
Wow.
痛えよ。死にたくない。
Oh.
長いは無用。行くぞ。
He died with his head in the dirt. His head's in the ground.
殺しておれば
なんと。
自由を得るため。
She won her
お前は
freedom.
敵につ
She
いた。
joined the Mongols.
なぜそのような。先生。
わしが追い詰めたのだ。
追い詰めた。ご説明を。
What are you hiding, old
Sensei!
man?
お答えください。
わしを襲ったのは賊ではない。巴だ。
なぜ。
武士の本懐を理解しておらぬからだ。
あなた
She
の
has
せ
no
いで
idea what
寝
it
返っ
meant
た
to be
の
a
だ。
samurai, so he drove it to the Mongols.
何がわかる。
本意をお聞かせください。
わしの弓術を猛虎に奪われるわけにはいかぬ。
ならば止めねば。
お主の助太刀はいらぬ。
いや、いるはずです
You need
勝
me.
利は人がもたらすもの。
This fight's full of
武
warriors,
具にあらず。
not weapons. You told that to me yourself, you idiot.
お主も立派に育ったな。巴を仕留めるぞ。わしのやり方でな。
Yeah,
そ
we'll
し
do
て
your
お
way.
じ上の救出にお力添えを。
Smash.
まあ、約束しよう。手はずを整えておく。時が来たら道場に来い。
我らだけでは勝てません。もっと味方を集めねば。
Give me your teeth. That ghost. I don't think we're gonna be collecting teeth in this game. I think our whole goal is to cut people's heads off and remove teeth. The horse nudging me. The Tale of Senshi Ishikawa. Done.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
A technique point earned? Ooh. You've earned a technique point, an additional Hero of Tsushima technique point. Use them to learn powerful new techniques that will aid your fight against the Mongols. So the first one's deflection. Oh, or I can do to roll. Okay. So I only have. Oh, I can. Follow the guided wind to hot springs. Soak in the restorative waters to increase your max health. Wind of resolve. Bamboo strikes to increase your maximum resolve. New charms. Wind of vanity to discover personalize my appearance, and fox dens. Parry an unblockable attack from Mongol swords. Perfect parries recover a small amount of health. Ooh. Okay. So this place is now done. We have some more story related stuff here. We still want to go to here. So we're going to go in that direction now. We're grabbing that bamboo again. Yoink! This game's very pretty. It's going to take a little bit to really get into the meat of it. But what a strong start. Being able to unlock, like, follow the winds for the fox dens and stuff. Oh, and he died. What I'm learning is you can't slaughter animals on horseback. Which makes sense, but at the same time it's very disappointing. So we're in the right direction. We are not, but we can always turn. I guess we just follow the road down here. There we go. This way. What's this? Who's this? Who are you? Study poetry with my uncle. You study poetry with my uncle? We've taken him captive. He will endure. He's strong and reliant, skilled in the art of combat and poetry. I do practice haiku because I don't already. My favourite place to write lies at top of the cliff. I write lies on top of the cliff. I've been finding quite places like this one, untouched by war. Look for the birds, they will show you the way. Ooh. I didn't instantly try and murder the birds this time, that's good. Can I collect resources by going past... Yeah, I can. Oh, that water's making me want to pee so bad. We've got a break coming up in about half an hour or so. This definitely isn't where we were intending to go, but we'll follow around. Shirby Springs. This definitely isn't where I intended to go at all. Hello. My lord, the monsters have taken the bridge leading into the springs. Many people travel that bridge. They'll be vulnerable to attack. I'll go there and see what I can do. That dude's in his underwear. Underwear? Under there.
お侍、そちらは坂井家の太刀では。
詳しいようだな。
知らぬ者はおりません。それにしても聞きしに勝る美しさ。
Sharp edge
ま
and
さか
beauty.
この目で見
Never
られ
did
る
see it
と
in
は。
person.
竹を切る稽古か。懐かしいな。
よろしければ一度お試しください。
Ooh, okay. Woo! Oh, let's go. Bamboo strike complete. Your resolve has increased. Let's go. 4 resolve.
その太刀はまさに宝刀にございます。優れた刀鍛冶が仕上げたのでしょう。しかし腕を上げるには稽古あるのみかと。
鍛錬を怠るべからずか。
稽古台はいくつもございます。ぜひお探しになってください。ではお達者で。
Oh my god, there's gonna be more of them to do. Oh, I'm gonna suck at them so bad. Artifacts nearby? There was an artifact nearby apparently. The headband of Serenity? I'll come back for it. The game's telling me it's there. It won't be too much of a problem to go and get it. It's the right way. No, I'm still going the wrong way. Hearing a lot of the same birds you hear in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is crazy to me. Oh my god. The Pillar of Honor. Beware the warrior's fiery vengeance. Yasha's embers. Tales are now available. Help people across the island to build your legend. Cool gear. A new weapon. You command your weapons ammo here. Cool. A new red case. That's wicked. Right, so let's go back to... Oh, I can fast travel to here apparently. So it's just fast travel there. I'm going to compose a haiku whilst here, so I can get a headband. Reflect on serenity. Clear skies and clear mind. Protect you from the harsh sun. Growing ever strong.
星雲やこの下闇は涼しけり追い伸びたるぞ海外しけれ沖縄の申した通り心が静まり強くなったようだまた読んでみよう
Clear skies and clear mind. Band of serenity. Who is below? This is pretty much the same animation from Infamous. Hello. I'd like to speak with you.
ただより公のお話をご存知ですか？
名は知っておる。
I know his name, but not the
して
story.
どのような話なのだ。
その鎧は身につけた者に力を授けると言われています。誤った者の手に渡れば災いが起きるとも。
災いとは恐ろしいな。話の司祭を教えてくれ。鎧についても。
でしたら琵琶法師が力になれるはず。あざもと筒の境の川の近くにまだいると思います。
So I need to go and find the guy to find out about the armor. Cool. Legends mode? What is Legends mode? Right, chat room, I'm going to be right back. I need to go to the loo. This isn't the actual break that we're supposed to be taking, but we're taking it anyway. I'm going to leave you with Pixel Chat Quiz. Good luck. It's going to be quite hard to see the questions like this, so what I'm going to do is actually... stand here. Back in a second, chat. Get the quiz. Hey Dax, are you enjoying the quiz? A specialty of New Orleans, a muffaletta is one of these. A muff of hookers. That's a real thing. It was a sandwich. Mate, that's so funny. Why did a dog bark? Just don't tell me there's somebody at the door. Good, there's nobody at the door. They make those. Cool. Records 101 of 40. Let's go. Who's this person? Who are you? My lord? You must be weary from battle. I am weary from battle. Soak in the healing waters of these hot springs. Replenish your strength for the challenge to come. Oh! Hot spring. Neat. Lead the way. This is going to increase my health.
湯に浸かるだけで身も心も洗われますよ。それにたびたび湯に入れば長く栄えて命を全うできると言われています。こ
こに逃げてきた奴らの話だと。
Oh, you made me walk in the water and my socks are wet.
島に安全な地はない。
さあどうぞ。暖かくて心地よいですよ。
Whoa, hey, yo, whoa! I'm gonna reflect on my uncle.
叔父上が生きておいででよかった。教えを授けてくださった生涯一の恩人。失うわけにはいかん。決して。
Oh, it increased a tiny bit. Whoa! Okay. We nearly got to see Japanese Dong then.
なんという変わりよう。これで大軍にも打ち勝てましょう。
蒙古軍すべてが相手でも不足ない。礼を言う。
もったいないお言葉。湯は島のあちこちにございます。お
The
探し
hospitals
く
all over
だ
the
さい。
island. Make use
ご
of
養
them.
生は
Okay.
大切でございますよ。湯に浸かり、戦に備えたお体をお作りください。
So I'm guessing that I've done this one and I have to do it again. That was a good tutorial for how this works. There's a merchant here. I don't get to know anything they're saying, and I'm okay with it.
金が有り余ってるから浴びるほど酒を飲めるのかも。それで死ねるなら。
So it'd actually be better for me to fast travel to here and then go across. I think it would be better for me to fast travel here and then go over to the bridge. Just comes out of nowhere. Nope.
お前がいてよかった。かけろ、ノブ。
Ooh, bamboo. Yoink. You dare hit my horse, you prick! Well, I didn't get to save either of them, but, you know. We tried. Give it to ourselves there. We tried to save them. It didn't work. Well, yesterday in the night for being a samurai. I tried my best, but I didn't succeed. Come here, you. I'm sure their families will forgive me. Maybe. One day. Not again. I've already been here, I've already beaten here. Oh fuck, it's a big guy. Ooh, buddy! Come on then. Come on then. Ooh, another point unlocked. Let's go. Right, so techniques. Evasion. Parrying incoming projectiles while blocking. I can block arrows? Ooh. Hot springs to max health. I think I want to buy that one. I want to get all the basics out of the way first. Oh, that's my timer to say I've got 5 minutes until I need to go feed the duck. Which means we don't have a lot left in the stream today. Thanks for the supplies, buddy. I'll find any boa to upgrade. Cool. Come here. And I have to find this bridge, which is left. Come on, fellas. I want whatever's in that box. Petrie?
Petrie rated my stream with 5 views.
Oh, you don't win. Petrie, thanks for the raid. For $5. Hey everyone, my name's Dux. This game is incredibly loud. This is my first time playing, so I'm still learning. I hope you all had a good stream. I assume you were, if you found me, you were probably streaming this game as well. But if not, what were you streaming? How's it been? How was your stream? Hello, hello. Welcome in. Hope you all are having a good... What are we on? Thursday? Hope you all having a good Thursday. Let's see. I'm going over to the bridge. Oh, I see a fox. You're streaming Ghost as well? Oh, awesome. Is that your first time playing, or how far are you in? Are you quite far away in? I want to pet the fox. I'm following the fox. Lead the way, creature. I'm sort of always follow foxes. I'm supposed to be saving people on a bridge, Fox. Oh, cool. I honor the shrine. It was awesome. Not very far in yet, but having a blast. This is literally my first time ever playing this, so I'm right at the start. So this is me learning everything. You can now equip an additional charm. Let's go! We can have. I got a third charm, but hey, I'll happily equip a third charm. Now, somebody said I can. Was it pet the foxes or collect the foxes? Now I followed that fox, but I didn't get to touch it. I assume at some point I will be able to. Also, I love when all the leaves pick up when you run. It's so cool. Tried to save those homies early and failed hard. The first people I came about that were being attacked by people in the street, they died. So, we don't talk about them. Anything else here? Fox then? Ah! No, bear, please! Please, bear! You're about as far as I am, that's cool. Well, that went well. How am I finding it so far? I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot to pick up. So, like, remembering to parry is going to be one that I'm never going to remember to do. Wait, if he's there... If there's anybody around there... Oh, thanks for the follow.
pt.3 is now following.
Thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. There's birds here too. Are the wasps forever going to be peed at me for doing that? Can I just walk in here and just grab this? I can. Okay, bye. Now, where's the bridge I was looking for? Whoa. Okay, I think I see the bridge. I see the bridge. I'm going to try and not die on my way over to the bridge. Wet my socks a little bit. God, this game looks so good. The yellow is so good. Hey. Am I playing on? I am literally playing on PC. This is the PC version of this. Which is safe at the moment. I'm assuming you're playing on either PS4 or PS5. This is direct the PC port on Steam. Someone's injured. I'm also streaming at 2K, so it's like added like extra quality for you to watch as well. Right, so I'm playing the PS4 version on PS5. Ooh, man. That looks good. Because the PS4 version looked insanely good. That's what made me get this on PC, was that the PS4 version looked good. So... Enemies nearby, so I literally have to defeat them all. I have no arrows. Okay. Looks like I'm going down and back up again. You got some arrows for me, buddy? End suffering. You didn't deserve it. I'll do it again. No arrows for me to collect though. And then down I go. You don't get to live. Any of you got any arrows I can take? Any of you at all? Surely. Any of you, surely. Oh, oh. We're good. Come and get me! Come and get me! Woo! Ah, you got hit by your own guy. Idiot. Your own Mongol hit you. Ow. Where? Oh, below, I see him. Yo! Oh, I missed. I missed. Oh, I wish I had arrows right now. Those wasps would be so handy right now. Wait, do you have arrows? You have an arrow. Get him. Oh, we can swim. And the wasp seems to got the last guy. Do I now just climb up? I think that's it done. I think we're all good. Can I run through the wasp safely, or is that going to get me hurt? Let's find out, I guess. Well, the wasps are gone, so it's only temporary. That's fine. Hey, to raid and run. We're going to get something to eat. Yeah, no problem. You know, you got to raid and run. Look after yourself. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Oh, there's one here. Oh, I got you. I got you real quick. Oh, 1 second, chat room. I will be right back. Sorry about that, chat room. Also, I'm late feeding the duck. Had to take a phone call from my dad. Whatever if he calls me. That's the last of them. Now I can rescue him. Hey, friend. Let's get you out of here. Yes, they've stopped shooting.
家族が待っておる。
ありがとうございます。
もう渡ってよいぞ。
Speak with his uncle? I can do. Did they scream?
なぜお主が気にかける。
Suffering isn't
こ
your
のまま
concern.
日吉の湯へ向かえ。油断するでないぞ。
はい。
Yes, go to the spring.
そうします。
Woohoo! Instant at Hiyoshi Pass. So, done. Oh, we're nearly close to another level up. And we got the defense charm. Oh, what does the defense charm do? Moderately reduces damage taken while at 50% health or less. Oh, sick. Right, exploration, vanity gear, hot springs, pillars of honor, Inari shrines, artifacts, activities, and satchel. "22 haikus, 40 artifacts, and a bunch of stuff in my satchel." Okay. Gear-wise, I have the Headband of Serenity. Ooh, it doesn't look as good as my golden one. That's fine. My bow, view upgrades, visit any bow. So where's a bow on the map? Oh, I've been here. One new vanity gear. Ah, okay. So that fox den's complete. We need to go over here. A golden temple. That's done as well. Fort Nakayama's done. Legend Storyteller. Probably too early between the Legend Storyteller stuff, but we'll stance progress, iron, and minor legend increase. We'll travel our way over. So which way does the wind flow? This way? God, this is gorgeous. Woo-wee! Come on then, bud. You wanna go? I'll take you on. Come on. Mongol territory. Anybody else want to challenge me? Come on, come on. I'm stood here, waiting for you. Gotcha! There's also an artifact or something near here because the fly's going off. Is it inside this building? Anybody home?
Ой, өнөөхийг чи харлаа. Очиж барь.
You over, now you're dead. Arrows!
Kingdwing.
Stagger 50 an enemy 50 times. Let's go. Another achievement. Oh. Nope, not having to take me. Nope, and nope, and nope. Anybody else right here want to challenge me or face me? But I'm walking in here is going to be bait. Thank you for the banners. Surely there's a leader here somewhere. Oh. I died to a dog. There's no quick healing in this. We go again. Most of it's already dead. Do they reset, or are they just dead now and I have to run back in again? I assume because I already killed most of them, they just stay dead. Yeah, stand and fight me. Come on.
You got fully here. It's no.
How did I miss your leg then? How did I miss your leg again?
Hindman!
Oh, another Mongol artifact. Is there not a leader in this place? I thought there'd be a leader I'd have to kill.
Oi!
Damn it, dog. Hold this to ignite. Oh, I can stealth this and just set this off. Oh.
Having bad.
Ah, this is more like it. So this is where I should use defense. Okay. He's got some cool armor. I'll give him that. Is this our first boss fight? like actual boss fight that we can do. I'm gonna lose this, I think. If I'm not lucky. It's that last attack that I'm failing to dodge through. Yeah, it's timing that. Right, we go again. We go again. I will beat him. I can and will beat him. Right. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this now. It's the only difference between the ones I can parry. Like that. Easy parry. Ooh! Water stance 1. Alright, so it's the difference between the parryable attacks and the dodge attacks. We've liberated the dojo. My legend grows. Let's go. The Wandering Samurai. Maximum health increased. Yes, even more health. Woohoo! Left stick and right bumper to throw 2 kunai at nearby enemies, leaving them staggered. Yes, please. Technique learned. A new technique is available. Plus 2 gold. And some kunai as well. Ah, you silly horse. Silly little goofy moment with the horse. So what's this new technique it was telling me about? Oh, it's talking about this. And I can unlock another part of that so I can get an additional kunai. There's black powder bombs. Evolving techniques. Press Y or X as they swing. One enemy will rush in and open themselves for a killing blow. Press Y or X as they're swinging. Gain extra resolve. Briefly slow time when aiming to improve accuracy. Oh, that seems like it's going to be more beneficial. We'll do that for now. Weapons and gear. We now have kunai, quick firing. We have the ability to upgrade the bow next time we go somewhere. Accessories wise, we're still on the same saddle. Stormwind. Oh, that looks so cool. Okay. Jin story. We need to go over and help our friends, so it's behind us. I do like this guidance system by following the wind to give you like a rough idea of which direction to go in. I've gone the wrong way. Where's the entrance and exit to this place? They sealed all the holes. I have to go out the front door. Enjoy the place I rescued for you guys. Now it's time for me to go and help Jin. Not Jin, the other one. What's her name? Can't remember her name. But I'm here to help her. Where are you, my queen? My goal is just to defeat the Mongols. That I can do. Hey, Mongolians! Yeah, send your biggest guy up against me. Let's see how he stands up against me. Woo! Let's go! Anybody else? Anybody else wanting to come in? No? Let's go. Your mate's dead. What about you? You want to go? Oh, that didn't work out well, did it? Woo! Any more? Oh yeah. Let's go. And the leader's dead, which means water stance. Whatever that means. Yeah! Out of your mouth, sucker! It's a water stance. Highly effective against shield. Ooh. Heavy attacks do extra damage. So 3 taps for a shield breaker. Hold Y, then tap Y, and then also to change stances. Ah, okay. Woohoo! Give me my kunai back. Oh, and a katana upgrade as well from any swordsmith. Let's go. There's something in here I definitely want. Some iron. Is it gonna be in this room? Some arrows. More iron. Just leave outside. Is it upstairs to this building? How do I get up? Oh, that's down. That's the wrong way. Right, there's nothing underneath, so there must be a way upstairs. Oh, hello. There is. Anything more for me? I'll have this. Thank you. I can take any linen I want as well. One new vanity gear there. Survivor camp has a trapper and a merchant for vanity gear. And there's an undiscovered location there, so I'll go over there. And then we might call it there. Because while the dogs have the... I've got to make the dogs some rice. We'll go for 3 hours. We'll push for 3 hours. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Is this my horse?
よし、いい子だ。行け。
I don't know what animal has seen me, but I don't care. She goes to my Tsushima until I, Oh. Am I still in water stance? I am still in water stance. Right. Ow. You don't get to hurt me. I'm good. How you doing today, third? Woo! Fellas. You got wiped out by the world's most inefficient samurai. I'll have your supplies. Oh, are you not dead yet? Oh, that's such a shame. Oh, oopsie. I'll take that. Where's my horse? I don't need more bamboo right now. What I need to do is follow the wind. I see flowers. Flowers usually means money. And... oh, got him. Right. So game is saying I go into the woods. Oh, that ain't good. I see more flowers, which is more money. Wait, Hulk Hogan died? No way, I'm checking this one out. Hulk Hogan. I mean, we don't care for Hulk Hogan. Dead at 71. Hulk Hogan, in his end years, became super right-wing and really, like, not a good person. But, wow, cool. Hulk Hogan side. Not cool, but you know what I mean. You know, if he wasn't a right-wing nut job at the end, we'd probably care more about his death. Mongol territory. Who wants to fight me? Big boy does. I'll take you all on. Come on. Challenge me. Woo! Find and observe the Mongol leader. I briefly saw him. Found him. Mongol leader? I hardly know her. And dead you are, Mongol leader. Wind stance in 7 kills. For newspaper... could have been like, huh, really? Yeah. Anybody else want to go? Oh. You sure you want to do this, buddy? I know you got a bow and arrow and all, but... I offer you a quick and merciful death. Ooh. Anything in here for me? I have some iron. I bet there's a Mongol artifact. Iron, steel. Little bug, help me find the Mongol artifact. Where is it? There it is. Ooh, more arrows. I'll have them. Now, if I open the map, it should mark this place as mine. I love, this is the dopamine I love with games where you've got like areas to slowly progress your way through and take over. As long as I don't suddenly get to the point where the Mongols are going to start attacking them, we're going to have to fast travel over and then run in and take them back. Because that sort of stuff ticks me off a little bit. Iron. Right, the bug's chirping in. Bugs, which way am I going? Oh, is it the cricket? Hello, little cricket. It was the cricket. Ah. We've got some iron as well. Right, we have another unknown location over here, so we're going to go over there real quick. Which way is the wind blowing? Down? Okay. Oh, is it the tower? Did we not go to this tower earlier? We'll run over. We've got some time to kill. This is going to be a big commitment, this game, I think. I see a guy sat here. I found a fox den, apparently. I found a fox den, but I don't see the fox. Oh, I see the fox den now. Are you a person I can talk to? Oh, you're just a person. Okay. Let's do the fox den then. Guide me, little fox. Ow. 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 Hey. The pigs leave me alone now. Don't worry about the pigs. Let me worry about the pigs. Pretty cool slide then. Wait, can we slide down dirt? Oh my god, that's so cool. We can slide down dirt. If there's a way we can do that later where we can like ride a shield or ride our hat or something, that'd be so cool. Oh, cool. Can I pet the fox? No, because it's on the shrine. With the fox sat next to me. Goodbye, fox. Right, I need more for another minor charm. Was that it? Oh, that's sick. I still want to go to see what that tower is there, so we're going to fast travel over there real quick because it's closer than actually just walking over there. I'm curious what this tower is. Wait, have I unlocked any? I can do more of these, so we probably want to do resolve Shinto Shrines for new charms, fox dens. Okay. Because all the like fighting stance stuff we'll just pick up throughout the game anyway. The unlocks to boost the character strength I'm gonna want to do probably off stream, maybe on stream. We might do a no cam Fugi type like chill stream where we just go through and do all the collectibles in this. I don't know when I'll be doing that. I do, you know, I've got so much time at the moment. Maybe Saturday we do a long stream. Like a start in the morning, finish in the evening, long stream. If this is like a watchtower that lets me unlock a bunch of the area so I can see it all. Oh, there's close up here. Some linen. Wow. Oh my god. Sheesh, is all I can say. So rewards my legend increase. There's a thing here for I've got to do. Maybe I can't do it yet. Oh, do I have to like? Oh, I have to ignite it. Oh, it gets me legend. Oh. This game really does reward you for exploring. Neat. Where to next? I guess we mark on the map and we travel over. Yeah, we'll run over and speak to her, see if we can get her brother, because then we get a blacksmith, which means we get weapons. Is there like a stamina for how far we can swim? I know we can... Oh, there is a stamina for underwater, but not above water, that's fine. She's gonna be like, I want. Oh.
Yuna.
Oh. Bastard. Where are you, Maya? Where are you? I'm out of breath. Wait, where's your brother at? Hi. I did. I found you.
来るなら早く来て。危うく死ぬところだったよ。猛虎が捕虜を連れて川上に向かったらしい。鍛冶屋を見たって人もいる。もしかしたらね、かねての入り江の近くに野営があるって聞いた。
場所ならわかる。
Oh! The Warrior's Code. Let's go clear this place out, and then we'll probably call it there. Because I have to learn to cook rice tonight. Like, properly. Like, boil it in water style cook rice.
一人だけな。石川先生だ。
あの弓の名手の
Are we horse riding? Yeah, we'll horse ride. Reach and overlook by them. Okay.
後でタカも手伝ってくれるよ。ああ、もうすぐあの子に会えるんだね。
お主はいい姉だ。
そんなことない。
弟は何というかな。
あんたにも兄弟はいるの？
俺の身内は叔父上だけだ。
助けた後はどうするの？
休みたい。叔父上がいらっしゃれば島は救われるからな。
そればっかりだね。
勝てるはずのない戦を制してきたお方だぞ。お主は弟を助けた後どうする？
実は考えてる暇はなかった。
She had time to think about what she's going to do once she saved him.
傷はどう？もう痛まない？
ほぼ治った。
They're doing alright.
お主の手当てのおかげだ。
あんた心の内は明かさない男だね。
そう見えるかもな。武士ならば感情を御せと叔父上に言われた。幼い頃から受けてきた教えだ。
なんだか生きづらそうだ。
それがものの札。この先に川を見渡せる場所がある。
そこからなら野営がよく見えそうだ。
Off we go. We could have just rode up here. Instead, it's like drop the horses off at the bottom and we'll climb up. Oh, this climbing feels so infamous. Oh, it feels so good. Ooh, bamboo. Is this not where we were supposed to be? Oh, we were supposed to be down here somewhere? And across, and across, and across, and across. Why she got down here fast? Oh, we literally just could have walked over here. There was no reason to go up there other than for the bamboo.
あれが野営？入れそうにないな。
数日でしつらえたものならば、どこかに隙間がある。探すぞ。
Where's the camp we're surveying? Behind us? I have to stand next to her. Okay.
タカを助けなきゃ。敵に騒がれずに。
何か手があるはずだ。
So it's two ways. Let's have a look at the safe approaches. So we've got
奥
this
の
one.
守りは硬そうだ。あの岩は登れそうだ。
足場が緩いと崩れる。気づかれるよ。
正面の壁は出来上がっておらぬな。
隙間があるかも。正面の壁に隙間がありゃ、中に忍び込める。
そして猛虎をすべて切り伏せる。
もし手違いがあれば捕虜が殺されるよ。何度も見てきたんだ。忍び込むしか手はないからね。
まるで野党だ。
不満でもあるのかい。
You have to go in quietly like thieves. What's wrong with that?
かつて賊が
Animals
の
ruled
さ
by
ばっていた。
criminals. We change that by creating order and delivering justice in the open. Live by a code of honor. And sometimes we die by it. Warriors like my father who just wanted to give us a safer home.
私だって同じだよ。
Oh, the same thing.
だけど今はやら
We
な
have to
く
fight
ちゃ。
back. I'm only reading some of the subtitles. You guys can figure out the rest.
今は目をつぶって家族を助けたいんだ。あんただってそうじゃないの。
近くに寄ってみよう。様子を探りたい。
それじゃあ暗くなるまで待とう。
行くぞ。
Yeah, real stealthy with the
タ
horse.
カは苦労してるんだ。猛虎が来る前から。
守ってやったのだな。
兄弟だからね。タカは盗みを嫌ったけど、飢えて死ぬよりはマシだろう。やるしかなかった。
俺も武士になるほかなかった。だが教えに背くのはやはり
猛虎に殺されてた方が幸せだった。恨みを晴らしたいんだろ。なんだってやらなきゃ。
Just talking very loudly when out here. Hope they know that. Ooh, you would. Ooh. Didn't even have to cut trees for this you would. Very RuneScape.
通るぞ。蹴取られれば捕虜が殺される。
じゃあ音を立てずに喉をかっきるしかないね。
Ah. Ooh. Whoa.
O 前はどう見る？
足を怪我しています。
The
矢
guy
が
was
当た
running
りま
with
し
the
た
limp.
ね。
手負い
Arrow
の
wounded
熊
him.
は死に物狂いだ。抜かるでないぞ。
わかりました。
後を追うぞ。
この地に熊が出るなんて。
そうだな。戦火の槍川から逃げてきたのだろう。
謀反者のせいです。罰として熊の餌にしてやりましょう。
いやしきことを申すでない。
We're not barbarians. Can hardly see anything, it's that bright and foggy. I'm starting to get the DLSS issue with the text in the top left corner.
ああ、すぐ近くにおるな。気を抜くなよ。
分かってます。とどめは私に刺させてください。
お前が感情を御せるのであれば、その時は考えてやろう。
いました。
夜な、生きておるやもしれん。この焼き傷では死なぬはず。
見てください。この傷の跡は矢ではありません。
四角槍か。
Ow, my arm!
卑怯者、地頭様の背を狙うと。
酒井、怒りを抑えろ。人殺しになりたいか、こやつのように。我らは武士だ。
ですがおじゅうよ、罪人はその命をもって償わせねば。
目をそらすな。
Look him in the eye. Kiss him on the mouth.
怒りや
Then chop his
恐
head
れ
off.
で人を殺めてはならん。誉れを胸に切れ。
His hand is on the floor. Oh, that wasn't a clean slice. That wasn't clean. That was at the top of his head. Ew.
命を奪う時も相手を見据えろ。情けと覚悟を持て。それが侍の姿だ。虚に乗ずるは臆病の印。
That's not true. He was mistold. He's been led to believe a lie. Right, we're going to save these people, then I definitely have to go. I can hear dogs stirring. They're hungry. I'm hungry. And the duck is probably hungry as well. So I want to feed the duck whilst they're having their dinner made.
どうした？
タカを探そう。見つかるわけにはいかん。
五感を研ぎ澄まして頭の中まで野党になるんだ。
Move and think like a thief. Press select to use focus hearing, revealing nearby enemy positions while slowing your movement. My kunai are full, so we don't need any more of them. How long can we do that for? Is it like unlimited? This is not the man we were looking for, and but they're dead though. That sucks. There's a bunch of dead people up here too. Oops. Didn't mean to attack her then. Oh, there goes the leader. Which way is he facing? Oh, we can just go this way and get to him. Because there's nobody inside.
あった、檻だ。タカか。見に行こう。違う。タカじゃない。
something at the door? Or is this the dog standing there? Oh, it's them telling me next door's full time. Dogs be yapping. Yeah, there's a dog down. There's a dog downstairs that wants its dinner. You can hear next door coming home. Literally after this mission, I've got to go and feed them. So I'm going to feed our duck first, which will get the dogs in. I've got to cook them some rice.
志村殿が捕まり、お助けするにも人手が足りぬ。手伝ってくれ。
無理だ。だが、菅笠衆に聞いてみろ。筒のコールで猛虎を襲ってるって聞いた。騎兵原の近くの海岸だ。
Another type of flower. Yank. So now we've got the stealth ability, we can go through and do it properly stealth.
弟を探してる。タカという刀鍛冶。
覚えはない。だが多くが他へ移された。
Are we just freeing this guy? That's it. Oh, we're here.
捕虜が移されたって言ったね。どこだ？
アザモウラがどうとかって。
Is that my bay?
そういえば、鍛冶屋の男を見た。若くてヒゲの生えた。
Young man with the beard.
槍川の出だったはずだ。
Yarikawa.
嘘じゃないだろうね。
鍛冶屋が見つかるといいな。
Same man, same.
タカがアザモウラで生きてる。
壁で囲まれた村か。策もなく乗り込めば帰
Wishing
り
that
討ち
plan
に
would
なる。
only put me in more danger.
友人が手を
I have a
貸して
friend
くれ
who
る
might
か
be
も
able
し
to
れ
get
な
us
い。
inside.
よかろ
Ooh, we can
ま
try
ず
to
は
horse
タカ
them.
を救い、それから叔父上だ。
Yes, because I need a blacksmith to make me better weapons.
タカならどんな道具だっ
We'll
てす
forge
ぐ
whatever
に
tool
作っ
you
てくれ
need
る。
as soon as he's free.
でもその後、
But after that,
二人で島を出た
we're。leaving the island.
猛虎のことならば
We'll
安
see what
全
the
だ。
Mongols are doing here.
叔父上が止めてください。
Oshima can stop them.
とどまり、
Stay.
故郷のため戦
Help us
え。
fight for our home.
故郷は
Home.
私とタカがいると
Wherever
ころさ。
Taka and I go. Oh, wherever her and her brother go, that's what they call home.
友人
Oh.
はアザモの氷にいる。ツツとの
Ugh,
境
pardon me. On the border with
そこ
Susu?
で落ち合おう。
Fudge you there.
楽じゃなかっただろう。教えに背くこと。
Yep.
なすべきをなしたまで。
I did what I had to do. Oh, cutscene.
志村、お主に労は似合わん。たむかわぬよう民に言い聞かせろ。さすれば縄を解いてやる。
己のざれ言は聞かん。殺せ。
すべてを失ったつもりのようだが、おいはまだ生きておるぞ。
ジン。
我が勢が道を塞ぎ、村々の近くには野営を敷いた。すべてを掌握している。おいもじき見つかろう。
堺は一生懸命に戦うはずだ。わしもな。
大事か。対馬の民はどうだ。お主は父も同然。我が子を見捨てるのは辛かろう。
己のしもべにはさせんぞ。
Neat. Break your code and help a new friend. The warrior's code. Cool, a new technique point. 2 new technique points. Right, we're going to fast travel to... Oh, fast travel's currently disabled. Why? Oh. Oh, it's probably enabled again now. I assume. Back to normal? Yeah, fast travel's enabled again. Right, let's look at techniques. Extinguishes burns. It's going to be useful. Resolve, new charms, and appearance. Wind of Vanity. We'll do one last little undiscovered location. Oh, it's another fox place. Where do you leave me, little fox? Leave me somewhere where my horse can't go? I see. Ooh, dangerous. Thank you, little fox. Right. I'm gonna save it there. We've got a manual save partway in. It doesn't tell you any information about the save, so I have no idea how far we are. I don't know what Legends mode is. Right. Let's see. Let's find somebody to raid into. Is there anybody on my list to raid into? Is there anybody on my list to raid into? Not at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'll be back. No, let's see. Who else is playing Ghost? Let's see who else is playing Ghost. Let's see. Is there anybody? Does anybody has anyone for us to raid into? I don't know. Who's a new player on this? Well, we're probably just gonna leave it there. I can't think of anybody to raid into. So, you know. I'll be on Process's stream later today. I hope you all have a good evening. I'm gonna feed some dogs. I shall be back soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I shall see you all later.